some advanced encryption standard. So you see some code. There are two files that I passed on. Yeah, did you see that? So there are two files. One is for encryption, other one is for decryption. And now they are not simply doing encryption and decryption, they are also implementing modes of operations. So the default file that you see is having ECB mode. What is ECB? Electronic code book mode, yeah, which is the simplest way of, because we believe the data might be long enough and we need to divide this into blocks, and each block needs to be encrypted and decrypted. So the whole point, you run those programs, understand them, what's going on, and see if you can change ECB mode with other modes. Yeah. So this program is in Python, so maybe you can Google it to learn about what are the Python help for encrypting other modes. For example, CBC, counter mode, another mode, whatever we've seen. Yeah. So let's run it and then see if you can change code to run this with another mode of operation. Right. So we'll spend half time on this, and then we'll do one exercise through Wireshark. So you need to open your terminal, run the files. So you're going to run first the encryption file, and then you run the decryption file. You'll see some files are automatically being created. So anyway, then start looking into code and understand what's happening, and then we'll have that discussion around it. Is it working? Okay. So if that doesn't work, that means you need to include some packages. You need to install. One of them is what's that? PyCryptoDome, yeah. And there's another DOMAX as well. PyCryptoDOMAX. So there are two packages you have to install. So depending on which version of Python you are using, you say PIP, or sometimes you say PIP3 install, and then put the package name. And that should install those packages. So if you open a terminal and then install some packages in Python, yeah. So you open a terminal. You need to install a few more packages. PIP install PyCryptoDome, DOME, yeah. What says? Maybe PIP3 or which is it Windows or what? Maybe you can Google it how to install this. How to install Python package on Windows. So maybe you got to simply you can say how to install PyCryptoPyDome on Windows. So it will kind of give you. Yeah, the command is same. Yeah. So that doesn't recognize PIP. That means maybe PIP is not installed by default. So you can say how to install PIP on Windows. So you have to install for the PIP, and then it will help you to install other packages. Yeah. So you need to install those packages in order to make this run. So you need to install two packages. One is called PyCryptoDome. The other one is called PyCryptoDOMAX. So PyCryptodome. Yeah. So you say pip install pip space install space pycryptodome. If you're working with Python 3, sometimes you have to say pip3. So it's a pip3 pip install. You also need to check whether pip command itself work for you. If not, then that means pip is not installed. So you have to first install the pip, and then you should be able to install all the packages. What does it say? Yeah. Huh? Sorry. Sorry. welcome. Now what we need to do next is, so if you look at carefully the code says somewhere ECB. It's using mode ECB when it's performing encryption and decryption. What we want is to simply want to replace with other modes, right? So what if I simply say instead of EBC, if I say CBC, does it work? If that doesn't work, maybe I need to look at what are the parameter I'm passing to this function. And you need to check Python help in this. Yeah, so what is the standard function if you want to use AES with this mode? So just try replace ECB with CBC. If that doesn't work, that means maybe you need to change parameter, add a new parameter, or so on and so forth. And then you can Google it to get to see the documentation. That will describe how many parameters this function should pass, what type of parameters are there, and then accordingly you can change this code. So this code does not require much change, just 1 or 2 lines, to run with other modes. Right? So let's do with this. See if you can do it. So you can use counter mode, CBC mode, OFB mode. There are a number of modes that we have talked about. Which file? The other one, I'll talk about that. Yes.
तो उसमें सर my text करके फाइल कोई है ही नहीं.
What my text? So those files will automatically be created.
So this one, sir,
When you run the program, it will create those files.
so it is giving error that we do not have this file input text, my text file.
It will create those files because I'm creating a blank file. Should not be a problem.
It's giving that
I'm not reading from file. I'm just creating a file and storing something to it.
no such file or directory my
Yeah,
text.
so that means something else.
Something else. Okay.
Did you install those PyDome Crypto?
Yes, sir.
PyCrypto.
Yes, sir. So I installed this.
Can you close and rerun it?
क्या पता पूरा नहीं हुआ सर एक बार फिर से करेंगे.
I'm not really sure. There might be some packages missing or so. But it should work.
Please.
Or you can give the, so sometimes if you're running, maybe you can, so what we are doing, we are storing in the default directory where your files are stored. If you're running maybe some other software, give it to a path and see if that works. So store those files into, let's say, directory, how many drive you have. Just, so you can store in, let's say, D, yeah? So in D drive, you can create a folder and then give that path to this, see if that goes. Yeah, do it now. No, what I'm saying is, this is your D drive, yeah? That's that, create a folder. Or if you don't want to create, that's also fine, but just name it whatever you like.
Not my.
No, just name it the folder, simple name, anything. Just give one name, yeah, to make it simple. Just say text, test, whatever. Okay. Okay, then go to the programs where your files are. Opening files wherever you have. Where you have? Did you download them?
Yes, yes, yes. कहीं आपने पाया?
There should be downloads, yeah?
Yes, sir. And now why is it a code?
Where did you put them? Admin, why? You can copy them, put them somewhere easy. Maybe create a folder on download or whatever. Okay, so these, open the one file, open encryption file. Open encryption file. You have to open any of those, anyway you have to open both files. And you have to give the direction here, so I would say, yeah. You give the path to the folder, to that folder. And that folder should be created similarly for others file, creating the same path. Everything they will do in the same folder. Right, so let's jump to the another exercise now, which is looking around the pcap file using Wireshark. So you should be having access to this file, unzip it, open it in Wireshark. We got a couple of questions to answer and see if we can answer it. Right, so the pcap file that we have, it collects large number of packets, some of the packets having some malicious objects in it. So the very first thing you can do is, whenever you collect packages, you want to submit it to something called total virus total, yeah? So there's a website called virus total. You can submit it, it will give you instantly almost whether a file contains a malware or not. Yeah, so that's simple just to understand, but then through Wireshark we wanted to understand which are those packages having some kind of malware and what kind of malware is this, which devices were targeted and so on. And based on that we want to answer some of the questions. For example, what's the IP address of Windows VM that gets infected? What is the host name of the machine? So what's the IP address, what's the host name, what is the MAC address of that machine, what is the IP address of the compromised website, yeah, the site that has what is the domain name of the compromised website, what is the IP address and domain name of the that delivered the exploit kit and malware. What is the redirect URL that points to the exploit kit landing page? What other exploits that you see? How many times was the payload delivered? Submit the PCAF to virus total and find out what node alerts triggered. What are the EK, which is exploit kit names shown in the Suricata alerts. Suricata is one of the open source IDS. What file and page from the compromised website has the malicious script with the URL for the redirect, and extract the exploit. So, and then possibly you can pass this to hash function to get to see its hash function and compare one of the repository to understand whether this is actually malware or not. So we are not extracting, we will not be extracting because that might harm your system. We will just go through the packets, and once you are done with the exercise, make sure you delete this file from the system. Now yesterday we did an exercise understanding how does it look like in Wireshark, how do we understand and interpret the environment and packages and protocols and so on. Now this is kind of slightly similar, but on the top of we need to understand which machine is being infected, which website, what is the IP address and so on of the website that is targeted, what is the redirectional attack here and so on and so forth. Yeah, so let's kind of use your knowledge and see if you can answer these questions. Once you got answers, make sure you note down somewhere, then we can check it. time we get the file, let's have some discussion around it. So very first question say, what's the IP address of VMware that gets infected? Where do you look at? So if you need to find the IP address of an infected device, if you're using Wireshark, where would you look at? In the Wireshark. Which tab? So one of the good thing about Wireshark, it process information and divide the whole information, put it into different layers. For example, if you need to understand bytes, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, application layer protocols. So whatever you are mostly interested, you look into that part only. If I need to know the MAC address of a device, where would I look at? Which layer of this packet? So yesterday we did an exercise where we were looking around DNS packets. So where did you, DNS application layer protocol. Yeah. If you need to find MAC address, you go for layer 2, Ethernet, where you see Ethernet layer. Yeah. That will give you the source, the MAC address of the source as well as MAC address of the destinations. Similarly, if you need to find the IP address, where would you go? Next layer, which is, what does it say? It's a network layer. If you click on the network layer, you will be able to see what is the center IP address and destination IP address that I send you this file. Yeah. Again, what is the host name of the infected VMware? So should be able to see in network as well. Now sometimes what is happening here, you're connecting to now what the packet's about, you're connecting to a website, you're requesting some, and then try download some of the data from it, right? Now the site seems to be a little bit malicious, it will give you some data, but at the same time it's performing redirection attack. If you're clicking on one site, that end up with opening other websites, and those websites sending you some data. So the malicious data, malicious object that you see, they are not coming from the destination IP address that you see, rather it's kind of a redirection attack. That server redirecting your request automatically to somewhere else, and that server knows where to send this data, and then sending that malicious data to the system. And that's why you get malicious object in that. Yeah, so the multiple exploit kit. Malicious object gets into the system, and we wanted to look at what are those, for example, packets. How do we identify which of these packets has malicious objects? Right? But then before you do so, you can also look at different packets, what their protocols are, and try to understand what is happening actually. What kind of communication it looks like, depending on what protocol being used. Right? And what's going on in a way. If you are able to download it, what we can do quickly, you submit your file to something called VirusTotal. So VirusTotal is the website. If you submit to it, it will process it. The way we are kind of looking into this using the Wireshark. And if you submit this, it will let you know how many packets are there, what protocol they are supporting, if there are issues in that, which of these files, which of these packets might have issues, and what could be the potential malicious object it can detect. Yeah, but since it's an open platform, you don't want to submit the organizational data to this, so we need people who can actually carefully look at this and understand what's going on. Right? Are we able to download it or not yet? let's try submit to the virus total. Let's say what it says. And see when you are going through those packets, are you able to validate? Are you able to detect those packets which are having malicious objects? Now we are not, as I said, we will not be extracting those because they might harm your system, but then we'll just look at these ones, right?
Okay, so this platform is not capable.
It's all about getting strengthening from time to time. Yeah. So if there's a new virus, possibly it won't be able to detect unless you understand how it works. You put some detection rules, then it will start detecting. So depending on how many variants they have considered, it can detect those. Not everything, of course, but it can detect most of the attacks, most of the malware, which are more kind of famous or typical traditional malwares. Are you able to submit it? Right. So let's do. Let's answer some of these questions. So the very first question. So the very first question is, what is the IP address? Sorry. What's the IP address of the window VM that gets infected? What is the IP? What is the source address that you can see? What is the IP? So that's the destination one, no? So you need to filter it. So if you filter it with http.request, so you see the filter bar. If you open Wireshark, you will be able to see the filter where you see if you put http dot, it will give you a number of options where you select where you can select request. Yeah. So if you say http dot request, this will filter out all the packages that were part of that request. And you should be able to see 172.16.165.165. What's the name, host name? What is the host name of the window VM that gets infected? You should be able to see the pack in your packet itself when you say the very last column, info, under info. Or there could be another command you can run called nbns. So if you go to filter and put nbns, you should be able to filter that out. And at right side column, very rightmost column, it says info. You should be able to see that name, which is K34EN6W3N -PC. Are you able to see that? If you filter your packet with nvns, you should be able to see that. Just put nvns.
This like
Yeah. Click it.
invalid command.
No, you have to go back. Say invalid command. Okay, that's fine. Can you do again HTTP request that you were doing? HTTP request. No.
Okay.
You have to type it. Just type here HTTP dot request dot. Yes, I'll give you a number of options you can select.
Okay.
Press enter. go to see all the packets, and where do you see the info? Where's the info?
This is like
Uh,
DN thing, DL info.
if you click on the packet, click on first packet, go to maybe internet IP. Do you see somewhere host name? Maybe check layer 2, layer 3. Now go up, layer 2, go to layer 2, Ethernet here. If you go up, sorry, if you go down, sorry, on layer 2, no, not frame, layer 2. Should be able to see somewhere. No? Open all these and check if you see somewhere host name. Is it working for you guys? No? Which one? Second? Did you? Okay, so first is okay. But then how about the other one? If you put NBNS, did it work or it doesn't take that command? So that is, you're able to do well. So that's the one I'm talking about. So if you double click on this, you get to see somewhere, where's the NBNS? Here's a click on this side. So if I click on this, double click, what it says. Somewhere you see it says somewhere, what's the host name? If you check it, it will say somewhere. I can't see now. If you double check it closely, look at it. But this is the answer. Yeah, that's the name of the PC. Right, are you able to run this command? So that's NBNS. Now the next one it says. So you can check this under application layer, I guess. Yeah. So now next one is what is the host? What's the host name of window VM that gets infected? Sorry, what's the MAC address of the infected VM? So wherever you go and find the MAC address, layer 2, you check the Ethernet tab. So when you look at the Wireshark, there are a number of tabs there, you see. So if you double click it, any of the packets, double click, you got to see the frames, Ethernet. If you minimize this, there's the internet, minimize this, keep minimizing everything. Yeah, so you got to see these. So it start with layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer transport, and application. So NetBIOS, for example, is the application. Yeah? If you need to know the MAC address, which MAC address, where would you go? Layer 2. You should be able to reflect what is the MAC address of source and IP address. This is the MAC address, yeah? 6 bytes. You see it? Are you able to see 6 bytes MAC address? How you identify the MAC address of a machine? What's the problem? Is it working or not? If it is downloading some of the system, please set together and make it work. Yeah, we don't have time much. Just a few minutes. Now, what is the IP address of the compromised website? So again, you filter the packet with HTTP. So you say HTTP request, filter it out, you see the destination IP. And you can also see the host name in the column. So one column is for source IP, destination IP, host name. So the answer should be, so we are looking for IP address, should be the destination IP address. Are you able to see that? So you see HTTP dot. If you put dot, it will give you number of options. Pick the request. Yeah. Enter. to see the destination IP? Where's the destination? Are you able to see the one which says 82.15? No, go up, go up. Yeah, yeah, this one. Right? So somewhere you have to recognize that something is wrong in a way, where you see there are different type of files or objects have been detected. There might be images, there might be some Excel files, some exe files, and so on. Yeah. So, what is the domain name of the compromised website? Where you see things are going wrong, you have to check the packets, all the packets. We keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. So you double click one of those where you see something is getting downloaded. Go to their application layer. So minimize all frames under the package. So you have to minimize from this side. Yeah. Minimize all this. So you get to see the other protocol. Not this one. Just minimize within that. Minimize that particular protocol layer. If you double click, just double click. Double click on any of these. Double click. Minimize from. Okay. So you get to see now. We are interested in application layer protocol, which is HTTP in this case. Go to HTTP. Last one. Yes, expand on it. And see if you are able to see the host name. Do you see this host name? Yeah? So that's the answer. So that's the answer of this. What's the domain name of the compromised website? So so you are getting data from this particular website. Yeah, so that's how you get a sense of all this information. What is the IP address and domain name that deliver the exploit kit? So maybe you have to check the other packets, and somewhere you see there's a redirection where you see the different host name, maybe some other packets. Yeah, so you have to look at all the packets, and some packets will have different host name, and there might be some redirection entry there. What is the redirect URL that points to this exploit kit? So just to let you know how you're going to export this, yeah? Don't do this, but just give you. If you go to File in the software in your Wireshark, if you go to File menu, there is something called Export Object. Yeah, if you go, there will ask. You have to select HTTP. If you do so, it will pop up all the objects that have been delivered, all the images, all the files, everything, and you can download which one you like. Yeah, don't download it, but just you can have a look. Just go to File, Objects, select HTTP. You'll get to see all the objects that were delivered via HTTP. Yeah. All right, so we should be stopping now. Whenever you get time, try and make it work. So thank you everyone for being patient, listening to me. We have come to the end of this. If you have any questions, we can have 5 more minutes. If no, we will wind this up. Any other questions we have at this point? So if you are new to cybersecurity and this kind of thing, it's good. It's a really good, interesting area to exploit more. Yeah, learn about the tools. More importantly, to build your skills in those areas. And there are plenty of internet help available on online internet and so many YouTube videos and so on. Yeah. Okay, with this one, I'll just wind up everything now, and wishing you everybody good luck for your future.